Good morning. Thank you so much. Please welcome Shasta Bridges and the rest of our music team, Fuji Fujimoto and Emra Kotan on drums. Good morning. Please stand together as we sing our opening song entitled Grateful. We are so glad you are here.
You may be seated. What time zone is it? Where am I? So greetings. I left Cambodia went to Guangzhou, China, went from Guangzhou, China to Los Angeles, and arrived in Atlanta this morning at 6 a.m. So, yeah. And my name is Jose Jimenez. Wow. I'm David Ault, and it's a privilege to serve with you as the Senior Minister of Spiritual Living Center of Atlanta. And I want to thank you. I want to thank you once again for such a magnificent response turnout last week for Dr. Dennis Merritt Jones. He sent me an email about this long, going on and on and on about our community, and I quote, he said, "I wish that all other CSLs, Centers for Spiritual Living, was like Atlanta." So thank you so much. So I'm just so honored and so grateful that you continue to show up and be fully present and support all of our incoming guests. And so thank you. And I'm going to turn it over to this guy right now. So.
Good morning, everyone. Well, my apologies because the spotlight, just as we came out, blew out bulb. So anyways, we're going to keep the lights on for the whole service, just so we're not going to do the dimming and so forth. Except, really, it's like, of all the days to keep him awake, that's when it goes off. So anyways, good morning. Welcome to the Spiritual Living Center of Atlanta. We are a center that recognizes everyone on their spiritual path, and we hope to be a place of great inspiration, thus allowing you to tap into your inherent greatness and to live the life you love. Brand new month of February. Everything inside your program is there for you to see, to take advantage of and take part in. Basically, if you're not familiar with the way we do things around here, God bless you, the newsletter, the Facebook page, and the website, the three best ways to keep in touch with all that's going on. We update it daily, and we want to make sure you're aware of all that's going on. But for now, I'll update you on a few quick things if you don't mind. First and foremost, again, classes are on, we have a brochure out there of all the classes for the winter and spring sessions. Please make your way out there because, again, classes will start in March, and new classes will start in March in-house. So we want to make sure that you sign up for those and can get space ordered and so forth, and we can get books ordered for you as well. So please make your way out to get that. And we've got 2 brand new classes that went live last night, midnight, with SLI, Spiritual Living Institute. Tracy Owens is going to let us know about that.
Hello, good morning. We are so super excited. 2 brand new classes, as David said, launched at 12 a.m. And I'll tell you about those. But before I do, I want to say just a really, really wonderful thank you to every person who has participated in the January courses. We have had a tremendous success with these courses. Reverend David taught one of the courses. Joel Fatinas taught another. People are having ahas. They're having amazing experiences. The discussion forums are going nuts. I love it. I love getting the feedback from each person. And we are looking for testimonials, so if you have had an aha and you want to share with me, please come up to me and let me know. We also know that we've had some challenges, some great old opportunities to learn and grow with our videos, and so thank you for your patience through that process. I just wanted to be sure that I said that to you today. As we mentioned, there are 2 classes launched. One is Jeffon Seeley is offering Unlock Your Greatness. Will you stand up, Jeffon, and wave at everybody? Say, hey. Jeffon is offering a 4-week course. During this course, Jeffon will provide us with step-by-step processes to not only uncover the seed of greatness within us all, but also provide us with essential tools needed to transform and revolutionize our life into an experience that reflects our true divinity. Now, who wouldn't want to sign up for that course? Seriously? The second course is Dr. Will Coleman, also a 4-week course. He's offering the genesis of your metaphysical mental creation. He'll talk to us about the Hebrew alphabet and that the alphabet has 4 meanings, 4 levels of meaning. Every letter has a specific shape, sound, image, and number. We're going to learn and see how to use these ideas to increase our own intentions, thoughts, speech, and actions. He'll also show us how through Hebrew and English symbolism, as well as meditation techniques. Now, I'll tell you that as the Director of Education for SLI, I had the opportunity of seeing this course material for both of these courses, for all of the courses, and to go through them and to see the material. It's rich, rich material. They've put their heart, their soul, their time, their commitment, their energy and love into these courses. And I just encourage you. I encourage you to register, sign up today. It's not too late. Course launched today, and we'll have that registration window open for you for a couple of days. And I just want to highlight one more thing. As you know, this is our online education arm for SLCA, and these courses are completely online, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. They are available. So wherever you are all around the globe, this material is available for you. The courses are $160. That's about $40 a week for the 4-week course. We encourage you to register today, and I look forward to seeing you online. Thank you.
Thank you, Tracy. I remember January, and some of you like to wait to the last minute. So again, registration can happen today, so we can make sure that happens for you. But please, go to the website and always keep up to date, because new classes get added every month. So Jafan and Dr. Will are this month, and then next month we've got Greta Counts and Munishwarji Walking Tall. So stay up to date. New stuff coming at you all the time. Practitioners, just a reminder, this coming Tuesday is your monthly meeting at 7 p.m. So please make note of that. The John of God Crystal Bed arrives back here at SLCA on February 6th through the 9th. So if you have not ever had an appointment or have and want to make another, there are brochures out at the wall, and you may do so. And then also, just a reminder again, next Sunday is our town hall meeting or annual meeting, and it is required by every Centers for Spiritual Living that they do so sometime in the first quarter to set forth the goals and intentions for 2015. And just to give a quick update on that is the president of the board, Lee Valentine.
Thank you, David. So when I told Reverend David that I wanted to make an announcement again this week, he said, okay, but be incredibly brief. So please come out a week from today after second service and help determine and learn about the future of your center.
That was very brief. And are you still awake?
Yes.
Okay, good. We got to keep everything brief because we got to keep them awake. And any first-time visitors joining us for the very first time today, please raise your, come on, stand on up so we can welcome you. Welcome to each and every one of you. What you're receiving is a CD case. You may take that to the welcome table and redeem that for one of Reverend Dr. David Ault's talks especially selected for you. Welcome, and you're in luck. Today is new member orientation after this service. So stick around if you want a little bit more information about the center and how we operate. We'd love to have you. If you could take this opportunity to shut off any cell phones you might have, I'd be so grateful. It makes me happy. Do the happy dance. Thank you so much. Have a great day and a blessed week.
I invite you to stand with your programs. On the inside is called our Declaration of Principle, and I ask you to read that with me together. I believe in one God, one absolute power and first cause to all things. I believe that this power is perfect love, and it creates out of a desire to express love. I believe that all thought is creative, and how I choose to think creates my personal experience. I believe in the unity of all life and the immortality of the individual soul forever unfolding. I believe in the eternal goodness, the eternal loving kindness, and the eternal givingness of God to all. Inside your handout is the song this month, Love is My Decision.
Love is my decision. It's up to me to give up my all. Love is my decision. No one else can tell me to start. And once I decide to change
those around you and say good morning and welcome to Spiritual Living Center of Atlanta. It's the first Sunday of the month, and it is our privilege to take the concept of oneness and to put that into a definitive practice that we call lighting the flames of faith. And so as you settle in this morning, as I put this on, which somebody in first service said makes me look very Jewish, but it was a gift from our practitioners that highlight all of the major religions. And our practice of oneness today honors that. And so I ask you to join me today as you take a deep breath in. We perform this ceremony to promote the universal consciousness of life, which acknowledges that all peoples and all faiths, all sentient beings, come from the one great universal presence which we call Spirit. And fundamental to this truth is the unifying nature of all religious thought and experience, which we honor here this morning. And so behind me there are 10 candles which represent these religions. And I ask you to pick any one of them and follow along with me. We light the candle for the Tao, honoring the universal path of harmony and equilibrium known as the natural way. Number 2 is the candle for all of the shamanic traditions, honoring the beliefs and practices of all indigenous peoples known as the way of primal spirituality. We light the candle for Hinduism, honoring the path of knowledge, action, and devotion. Number 4 is the candle for Judaism, honoring the ethical path of living by sacred law. And number 5 is the candle for all forms of Buddhism, honoring the 4 noble truths and the path of compassion. 6 is the light for the candle for all forms of Christianity, honoring the Christ consciousness as the path of love. 7 is the candle for all forms of Islam, honoring the path of submission to the will of God as the highest calling. 8 is the candle for the universalistic religion of Baha'i, honoring the path of unity and peace. And number 9 is the candle for all forms of new thought, honoring the metaphysical path of mental healing through the practice of universal spiritual principles. And so I ask you now to look at the 10th candle, whichever one you designate that for, and I ask you silently to put into the flame of that candle the name, the essence of anything or anyone that you wish in this moment to receive the experience of the healing power of God's eternal love. And today marks the first Sunday of our season for peace and nonviolence. And so with the 10 candles behind me, we also have our peace candle. And it is our privilege on these Sundays to be able to hear from our youth as they speak about their expression of peace. And today we are privileged to have Jabari Lawrence.
When faced with a question like why does war exist, the answer doesn't seem so simple. Peace and nonviolence should be like second nature to us for these three reasons. God wants peace. Life would be much more complicated with no peace, and peace and simplicity are very closely related. The first reason peace and nonviolence are so important is God wants peace. Mankind was not created to live in a constant state of war and chaos. All everybody really wants is peace, and hate and violence are two of the most low-quality characteristics. The second reason is life would be much more complicated without peace. All violence and hate ever create are unhappiness and despair. War is just a source of bloodshed. Even many religions encourage peace. The final reason is peace and simplicity are closely related. Patience is one key ingredient in peace. Many pets even often teach forgiveness. And life is based on much more than hate and violence. Peace and nonviolence should seem like second nature to us because God wants peace. Life would be much more complicated without it, and peace and simplicity are very closely related. This should be important to everyone because God would never want people to be engaged in war and violence.
Beautiful. That was awesome. Would you like to give the Sunday talk today? And so it is my honor to ask you, if you would, on this very first Sunday of the season for peace and nonviolence, to light our peace candle in commemoration of this season. Thank you, Jabari. And now as we go into our treatment, our peace, our meditation time, it is my privilege to invite up practitioner Scott Baker.
Good morning, everybody. So I invite you to just relax, open up, however that looks for you, and just ground yourself in who you are today. And I'm going to be speaking this treatment in first person because we're all one, and my words are your words. So let what I say resonate for you however it does. So what I know is God, the thing itself, is all around us. It is everywhere, and it resonates through us. And because it resonates through us, it is a part of me. That God present is a part of me. I can't deny it because if it's everywhere, I am part of the world. And what I know is that there is this beautiful essence of innocence that lies within me. And I know that innocence is there because when I see a little newborn, there's a part of me that resonates with that newborn. And it sees the innocence, the joy, the vulnerability, and the trust that is inherent within me. Because this little baby knows nothing but what's there at the moment. And it's full of innocence. And this innocence resonates throughout my life. I see this innocence in the joy that I feel when I see something beautiful. I know it's this innocence going, wow, this is a connection with Spirit, a connection with God. And I know this innocence shows up in my laughter, this unique present that's been given to me by the source. And so I allow that innocence to just flow through me and be recognized as a gift from God. A gift of trust, a gift of vulnerability, and a gift of knowing that all will be provided for. Because this is the nature of God, to provide for me and for what I ask, just as a newborn is provided for from all the sources around it. So I give thanks that I'm aware of this innocence as a part of me, as a beautiful part of me, and I allow it to multiply in all my aspects of awareness. And I release this knowing of the innocence throughout me and that beautiful presence of God. And I know it's so. It is in my life. And together we say, and so it is.
There is so much love. There is so much love. There is so much grace. There is so much grace. There is so much joy. In this place. There are open hearts. There is peace on each face. Spirit's with us now. In this place. So much, Scott. Please welcome Christine Job to introduce our musical guests this morning as they arise to set up their equipment. Yeah.
Good morning, everyone. How are y'all doing today? I'm Christine Job. I'm a member of Kinetic Ascent. Kinetic Ascent is the young adult, young professional group of SLCA. We are a group comprised of 20 and 30-year-olds. We have poets, artists, doctors, psychologists, anyone. So if you know anyone in that, age range, or if you are one, why don't you just come on and, come hang out with us. And we do a lot of cool things within the community. We, as a group, Kinetic Ascent, have been honored to get to set up the musical guest for the entire month of peace and nonviolence. Our first group is the lovely husband and wife duo, Shanae and Zeno of Shay Z. They are originally from Baltimore. They've been out here in Atlanta for about 2 to 3 years. When I first saw them, it was just crazy. They change everything in the entire world when they perform. So without that, with that, I'll let you guys go on. Shay Z.
universe is us. The universe is us. This love is like no other. my soul. It feels as if I've known you forever. In the stars our story is told.
This love, it will last forever. See, our spirits, they have loved before. These old souls can't be without each other. This love I just can't ignore. Let's get lost in the constellations. Rearrange the stars. Let's make love on each and every comment. The universe is ours. And I will follow you into the dark. And I will catch every falling star. I'll be where you are forever. We're loving on Mars. No matter, the universe is ours. The universe is ours.
Do not urge me to leave or return from following you, darling. Oh, where you go, darling. Oh, baby, I will follow. Oh, where you lay your head, baby, I lay mine too.
Your God is my God. When you die, I'll die too. Let them know when they go to bury us. All we need is one tomb. And I will follow you into the dark. And I will catch every falling star.
I'll be where you are
Forever.
we're loving on Mars.
No matter,
The universe is ours. The universe is ours. Oh, yeah. Oh, hey, I promise you never be alone. Hey, I promise you never be alone.
in this broken world, never leave me alone. In this broken world, never leave me alone. And I will follow you into the dark. And I will catch every falling star.
I'll be where you
are forever. We're loving on Mars. No matter,
The universe is ours. The universe is ours.
Thank you, guys.
That was worth coming from Cambodia for. Wow. The universe is yours. Thank you so much for being with us. What an amazing thing to have an intention for this teaching and this philosophy to find deep resonance within our young people, and to hold that intention for years now, and to just all of the sudden just watch it explode. So thank you so very much. And I can't wait to see the rest of the lineup for the Season for Peace and Nonviolence. Thank you. So I want to start out this morning by giving thanks to those from Spiritual Living Center of Atlanta who journeyed with me all the way to Siem Reap, Cambodia. One of them made it back. Oh, several made the back. All right, stand up. Doris, Lexa, who else? Wow. So thanks to these two and the rest of them, I never knew that the school in Siem Reap was going to expand, but now I'm having two schools now, and we are about 37 kilometers outside of Siem Reap in a village called Noko Krau, and where a two-room schoolhouse was built to help begin to serve the 1,000-plus children that are in that village. And the rooms were only meant to hold 85, and now we have about 185 that are crammed into those two. And so the parcel of land right next to it became available. And we got the price, and it was $4,000. And this is where I love social media. We posted it on Facebook, and amongst this community predominantly, that money was there in a day. So... And so amongst our group, not just with the land, but Doris and her music classes, stand up. This woman, I will forever have, I will march, 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 tra-la-la-la in my head. Come here. Lexa, come here. Doris, come here. Just, how are you holding up? Straight off the plane. Anything you want to share?
Just an amazing 2 weeks. Incredible poverty, incredible grace, appreciation for the most basic human interaction. It's really a hard experience to describe. The kids have nothing and they have everything. And David has just done amazing work. He's like King David, you know. King David. He walks in the sea parts, you know. And we all contributed in our own way. I was really fortunate to do music with the kids pretty much every day. I had like 80 kids in each class, and they didn't really speak any English. So, you know, like stand up, move, you know, it was very basic. But it's if you ever have the chance to go, it's a transformative experience. And you get to hang out with this dude for 2 weeks, which is a bonus, and see other sides of him than you normally see in the in what I call the David show on Sunday. You know, it's a whole other thing. So we love you.
Thank you, Lexa.
So most people that know me know that kids aren't really my thing. I try to tolerate them. And there are a couple of cute ones. But these kids, oh, these kids, they're so hungry. They're hungry for knowledge. They're hungry for the caring that they get, not just from the groups that come and visit like we did, but from their teachers who are so devoted and walk through fire daily to take care of these kids. You know, some of them have a bicycle and they bicycle 30 minutes to and from school every day. And then they bicycle to the university to take classes in the evening so that they can improve their skills and be more valuable to serve the kids. And I don't even remember who I said this to, but when we were leaving the village school on the last day, those kids were just going wild. You know, it's not a hugging culture for the most part, but all that changes over the course of 10 days. And they want to touch. They just reach out and want to touch you. And, you know, when you want to have a picture made with them or of them, you know, they're like, you know, they're just adorable. And I said, my God, they almost like bowled me over in hugging me as we were leaving. And I said, I never in my wildest thoughts would have thought that a bunch of kids in dirty clothes with dirty hair and very bad teeth would make their way into my heart the way they did. And I think that this group as a whole, I'm trying not to speak for them, but just based on the conversations that we've had over dinner and massages and leading the good life, there's a lot of us that are committed to carrying this work forward. There's tons of things that we can do. We're going to be planning some fundraisers, not necessarily associated with SLCA, but you know, this is so worthwhile work. This is definitely worthwhile work. If just a handful of these kids have a better life, and I think it'll be much more than that, I think every one of them will have a chance at a better life. It's fortunate that this country has a tourism trade that's really expanding rapidly. And so a lot of the skills, just by learning how to take care of themselves, how to speak English, some basic skills, and some of them are turning into amazing seamstresses, and you know, because there are sewing machines at the school. And through these skills, they'll have access to a way better life than ever would have been possible. So I just really want to honor the vision of our leader that started all of this. And just thank every one of you for what you provide and what you've supported for these communities. It's making a world of difference. Please know that. Please know that. Thank you.
And speaking of sewing, the kids made my shirt. It smells a little bit, but I'm wearing it. So I wanted to take this month that is so universally celebrated as the month of love and to, in my own way, help us explore what that word really means. And what I mean by that is I don't think that our language, any language per se, really can begin to identify and to articulate what the energy of love, what the vitality of love is life itself, really is. I think that when we try to describe it in words, we actually diminish the experience. It's something visceral. It's something that is felt. And yet, it is the very thing that our soul's assignment has been called forth to do. And when I was thinking about that and exploring material, I thought, well, what better person to use as a text for this month than the Vietnamese monk Thich Nhat Hanh, who is 88 and is making his way into his next soul's adventure as we speak. He has over 100 books. And in 1967, Martin Luther King Jr. nominated him for the Nobel Peace Prize. And as we do this season for peace and nonviolence, I wanted to include him because I've been a fan of his for many years. And he has this little booklet, one of 100 books that he has, and it's called True Love. And I celebrate this title, True Love, because there is a difference between true love and the conditional love that most of us practice. By conditional love, it's that kind of thing energetically where I give you $1 worth of affection or attention, and so you give me $1 worth of affection or attention back. And then let's say I'm jet lagged, and so I give you 75 cents worth of attention and affection, not because I'm upset or mad or anything, it's just because energetically that's where I'm at. And then the other person goes, I'm noticing a shortage of love and attention. I was only given 75 cents worth. To play it safe, I'm just going to give 75 cents back. And it becomes this sort of tit-for-tat thing, which is really very conditional. And so the way in which most of us, myself included, operate many times without being conscious of it is I give in order and hope that you will give back, and if you don't, then I begin to practice withhold. But true love is being willing to stand in the grace and the consciousness and the energy and look through that lens of God and see each and every soul, each and every being as that instrument and as that divine expression of God. Regardless of what the effect, regardless of the behavior, regardless of the circumstance, but to really know that if in part we are going to practice these principles and stand as that vessel of God, then that is what we are called to do. Easier said than done, right? But that's what true love is. And as I began to look at this little book, I thought, well, this will be an easy little book. You ever read something, you read like little 6 pages, and then you go, what? And then you go back and you read it again, and you read it again, and it's like, wow. And the depth of this, in its simplicity, really, really opened my heart. And as I began to look at 4 basic principles that he outlines, I thought, what a great gift that this would be for all of us to have for this month so that we could do this together. And the first thing that he said, if we're going to practice true love, and by practice, I have to stop for a minute and distinguish between the mental knowledge and concept of love and the practice of love. And that's here. And we have to take the concept from here and we have to bring it down into the heart, because it's the heart that is actually the action center whereby we go and we move ourselves into the situation to be that vessel of love. And so what Thich Nhat Hanh encouraged us to do to be able to do that integration is to, number 1, being able to recognize the presence of the other. Being able to recognize the presence of the other. And when he said that, he was actually talking about your physical presence. And so have you ever noticed in our culture now, you ever go to a restaurant and scan the room? Everybody's face is in a phone. Even those people who are dining together, even though they are physically in the same proximity together, they are not present with one another. And he said, if we are to really in a place of authenticity and integrity walk this path of true love, we have to begin to practice to see one another. We have to be willing to acknowledge and be in the presence of one another. Much like that movie Avatar, what was the, I see you. We have to begin to make that palpable and real, not just a catchphrase, but to stop what we're doing and take the other person in. He gives a tiny little example about a privileged boy born into a house of wealth. And when the father says, "What do you want for your birthday?" the little boy says, "I want you. I want you. I don't want the gifts. I want your time. I don't want material things. I want you to notice me." And so when we begin to understand and to see and to revere the call of recognizing the presence of another, then what begins to happen is that we open ourselves up to that heart center. And I like to always add this component, and I think it's necessary for any of us who embrace the metaphysical mental component of this philosophy, and that is anything that we start with ourselves. So how can you and I recognize another person unless we can recognize ourselves? Unless we can begin to acknowledge ourselves. And he says the way that you do that is simply this, by breathing. When you breathe consciously, we call it meditation sometimes, but have you ever noticed that when you stop deliberately in meditation, you are actually recognizing yourself? It's one of the very few times that we do that. We can go an entire day, we're constantly with our physical body, but we are not with us. We can drive in our cars and our mind is in 1,000 different directions. We can go about the busy task and our minds are off on some other thing, but rarely is it that we are physically with ourselves and recognizing ourselves. And he says, only when you stop and you breathe consciously do you begin to bridge the gap from the separation to the unity. He said it's like this. When you breathe and you breathe consciously, you create a bridge from the mind to the heart. When you breathe and you breathe consciously, you create a bridge from the mind to the heart. And so by doing that, it's as if we give ourselves the permission to open the portal, a self-imposed barrier. We open that up so that we can begin to commune with ourselves. And so in order for us to be present and recognize the presence of another, we must first practice that. We must stand and we must breathe and we must look at our image and we must know and recognize the divinity of who and what we are. It would be a farce for me to try to practice true love on another individual and to have not done my own personal homework in that regard. Because really what I'm doing, if I bypass that, is I'm looking for you to fulfill me. I'm looking for you to fill the hole. I'm looking for you to solve and ease the pain and the hurt. I'm looking for something else external outside of me to do it. And every single time we do that, we set ourselves up for disappointment. And that disappointment turns into resentment. And that resentment turns into bitterness. And that bitterness becomes a lifestyle. And so we have to start with ourselves. We must recognize the presence of another. And so Doris was at the village school. We would bring these tarps and she had all of these instruments out and we would sit on the ground and amazingly, she learned listen to me in Khmer, which is stop quignon. And you could hear Doris throughout the village going, stop quignon, to get the children's attention. And she would sing these songs and she was instructing them phonetically to be able to speak in English. And one of the women that was with us, who's not a part of SLC, her name is Marcia, she kept noticing how some of the children whose guardians or whose parents had not given them permission to come to the school were hanging outside of the fence of the gate staring in. And they were trying to sing along. And they were trying to clap, and they were trying to participate. And Marcia took it upon herself to walk outside of the ground of the village school and to go and mingle amongst them. And she was mimicking Doris and singing, and they were laughing. Except there was this one little boy over in the corner who was crying, just crying hysterically. And Marcia went over to try to pacify him and to soothe him and to see what was wrong. And there was his mother close by him. And as he continued to cry, she took the back of her hand and she just hit him severely. And Marcia was very much shocked by that, and it really stunned her and it upset her. And the woman said in broken English, she said, "He cry all time. You want him, take him." Which really set Marcia off, because she thought, how could a mother just give away her child? And as we were talking about that, and as she was venting and getting all of that emotion out, it reminded me of that phrase that hurt people hurt people. Hurt people because they just mimic what it is that they have been exposed to. But what I also know is that loved people love people. And there's not a one of us in here who hasn't been hurt. There's not a one of us in here who hasn't gone through the myriad of emotions that we go through having this human experience. But at some point, there must have been something where you had the wherewithal to stand and to stop the cycle of that and to say no more. Or to at least pick yourself up and to begin to move with some semblance of intention and consciousness so that you can begin to stop whatever that cycle is without just unconsciously living it out year after year after year. So hurt people because they have no other skill. They have no other skill in consciousness. And loved people love people through observation, just as hurt people hurt people. And so when I began to think about that and think about that woman and think about Marcia, I realized that in Marcia's world, there had been love. And so what she identified with and what she centered her life around was the idea to be able to give that to the child. That's why she wandered outside of the grounds of the school in order to go and to integrate with them. And what the mother had in consciousness was, who knows, a life of tremendous pain, a life of tremendous hurt. And her only skill was to respond from that level of consciousness. And so it is our job not only to heal that within ourselves, to bridge the gap from the mind to the heart, to open the portal and be able to walk into that direction intentionally and to know what true love is, rather than to continue to play out the story and the victimization over and over again, but to establish a new generation whereby true love is actually a viability. Because if the hurt stays in the head, it is never resolved in the heart. If your hurt stays in your head, do you know what I mean by that? If your story stays within the realm of the intellect and it never travels down into the realm of the heart, then you and I will forever be a prisoner of that story. And it's a prison that does not have a locked door. It is a prison of our own making. From the book, he says, in our daily life, then, our mind and our body are rarely together. Would you agree? So think about that even just this one day. It's not even noon. Well, almost. Well, no, it is. Oh, okay. Thank you so much. Good. I mean, even this day, our mind and our body have rarely been together. And what will it take for us to create that? He says, there is something that exists that acts like a bridge between the two, and it is our own breathing. And the tool that he gave us was this, a mantra, and he says, to go to that person and to say, dear one, I am here for you. Dear one, I am here for you. Imagine doing that to your own image in the mirror. Dear one, I am here for you. What would it feel like? What would be your reaction to have someone say that to you? How do you think that you would respond? Do you think that you would remain in resentment and anger? Do you think that there would be pushback? Do you think there would be this resistance that we see so much in the world? I don't know if there's one answer to that, because I think sometimes yes and sometimes no. Even with the people that we say, dear one, I am here for you, doesn't guarantee that they're ready to receive that. There was another woman on the trip who was not a part of our community. She was a retired Hispanic woman who had been a psychologist and had a very particular way of doing things. And so she got her feelings hurt one night. And because she got her feelings hurt, she hurt people. And so what I saw was her methodology was to then hurt back. And she chose to take that at me in front of the group. And so she began to tell me all of the things about the school that I was doing wrong, and all of the things that were inadequate, and how I was doing certain things in wrong time frames and time this and that, because she was an expert and she had all of these things. And I'm sure you've had the experience where you've put like this much work into something, and then somebody walks in the 11th hour, and then they want to comment on that. And you've put this much work into something, and then they want to comment on that. Did I say that you put this much work into something and they want to comment on that, right? And so, and I've had that a lot in my life. And so we have a choice in that moment. There's a thing called discernment, whereby in that moment you can stand and you can choose then to banter back and forth and retaliate or be in resentment, or you can choose to just stand and listen. And so in that moment, I chose to just stand and listen. And as I did that, I was thinking about the assignments that I had been giving them on a daily basis. Those assignments were conscious things that they were supposed to think of. And the number one was let it go. I said, today's theme, let it go. I said, when you order something in English and you don't get what you order, let it go. When this doesn't work out, let it go. When you're hot and sweaty and this and that, let it go. When your expectations aren't met, let it go. And so I'm standing there thinking, David, you told them to let it go. So I tried. But I did go back to my room and several nights thought about that conversation. Did I tell you I did this much work? And she's commenting on this. Another theme that I told them was that everyone is your teacher. And so as I sat with those two things, I thought, okay, let it go, and everyone is your teacher. And it wasn't until I was flying home these last 2 days that it dawned on me, oh my God, that woman was my mother. Because you see, my mother talked like this, and this was her quiet voice, and this was the way that she said everything, and there was never any kind of, there was just constant, like, yell talk, right? And as I thought about that, and I thought about all of the times when my mother missed all of this and would comment on this, and I thought, wow. And the revelation that I had about that was, did you ever think, oh, I'm complete with something? I'm complete. I've healed that, right? And then it's not that the universe tests us, but it says, hey, if you're going to be a student of true love, let me give you this. Let me give you this. So that you can practice that and really see if you're earnest and true about what that is. And as I thought of that, I realized that in so many ways, it was very much like my mother, and how I had grown to understand where she came from. And as I got bits of information about the woman, I too could see through her own history why that was so prevalent for her. And I was able to see that and to honor that and to revere that and to let it go. And I ask myself in those situations, do you really want to be a vessel of true love, or do you just want to remain in the intellect and talk about it from lofty standpoints? And I'm here to tell you that we are a people that must not stay in the intellect. That the time in our world and the call that is before us is one for all of that to migrate itself across that bridge into a place of heart and into a place of action, because the time is ripe and you are ready. And lest you forget, I want to remind you that sometimes we think that we are monomorphic beings. And by monomorphic, it means that we have a story and I'm sticking to it. I have a diagnosis and that's who I am. I've had this happen to me and that influences the rest of my life. The doctor said this, and so that's what I am. He left me, she left me, they did this, they did that. That's why I can't do this. That is a static way of staying in a monomorphic mindset. But you are not that. You are polymorphic. And by polymorphic, I mean that by one thought and one committed thought alone, you completely change the energy of what is left before you. And you and I are called to do that. You are called to rise up and to understand, like Nelson Mandela said, that the greatest glory in living lies not in never falling, but in rising every single time that you fall. And so in this season for peace and nonviolence, I ask you sincerely, in my heart, not from my head, but in my heart, to commit yourselves to understanding what it means to love. To commit yourself to the action component of that. You don't have to go to Cambodia. Some of you need to go to your own house. So go on. And most of us need to go to our own bathroom mirrors and stand and look at the person in front of you and to ask forgiveness. And to say, I'm sorry that I forgot how sacred you are. I forgot how important you are. And it is my mission right here and right now in this moment to honor you with the truest of my love and to know that I mean that with all my heart. And I mean that for you as well. And so it is. Nancy. Yeah, come on. I like putting people on the spot. My mother used to do that.
I'm not, public speaking is not my thing. All right. I'm really nervous, you know. Okay. Affirmation for grateful giving. I'm just going to say it, y'all. I live in a universe of abundance, and as I freely and joyfully give, I join in the divine flow, and all that I share with life returns to me multiplied abundantly, and so it is.
Hello, everyone. So I told you guys they were awesome, but you didn't really believe me. But now you know, like, how awesome they are, right? So a quick plug for Connecticut Ascent. As I told you before, we're a young adult, young professional group. We meet every Sunday in the back room to the left over there at around 1 o'clock. And it's about an hour, hour and a half. Sometimes we go to brunch, sometimes we do lunch, sometimes we have workshops. So if you're interested, come find me. Let's talk about it. Okay, now on to Shay Z for their next song. They will have a table out in the front with their flyers. You can get their music online. We will have a nice, loving donation tip jar for them. Since you dig it, show them some love. And now to Shay Z.
Ready?
job is done, we're taking over the world. We're taking over the world. Ready or not, here we come. We won't stop till the job is done. We're taking over the world. We're taking over the world. Well, Stacey be our name. You bet that in your brain. Flower power be the team and Posy vouch is what we bring. I'm vibing to my G-strum. Peace and love, let's spread some. With that said, I think it's on my floor. Glory to the sky, send your wishes to the stars. Focused on the grind, and baby, we gon' go far. No matter what, I promise you a big house and a couple cars. She said we gon' save my money, we gon' spend yours. Oh, baby girl, it's forever. We taking over the world, you and me together. I'm trying to upgrade this cheddar to mozzarella with my long dread to your big fro. Ain't no couple ready or not, here we come. We won't stop till the job is done. We're taking over the world. We're taking over the world. Ready or not, here we come. We won't stop till the job is done. We're taking over the world. We're taking over the world.
My fro big, jet toy, flow cold like a snowstorm. My man on my arm, and we born, we set to blow. This love is for real, we ain't putting on a show. See, we all about that peace, keep that drama out of my sound. Cause it's all love, yeah, one love, we taking over.
Taking over
My mind's clear, I'm so focused, I hate the chips all on my shoulders. Chasing it a dream, yeah, we going far now.
Let me see.
Almost
go far, go far.
Promise we gon' make it, we shop right, no you can't take this. I try this, no you can't pay this.
Who's know this without the hating?
Success too close, I could taste it.
Left it to the bed like, oh my God, we made it. Ready or not, here we come. We won't stop till the job is done. We're taking over the world. We're taking over the world. Ready or not, here we come. We won't stop till the job is done. We're taking over the world. We're taking over the world.
That was a really close one, wasn't it?
Taking over. Oh, give a couple years so we can say, oh, we told ya. We're taking over. Give a couple years so we can say, oh, we told ya. We're taking over.
Thank you, guys.
Jay-Z.
Thanks so much. Remain standing. If our practitioners will come forward, please show them some love. Like I said, for these 2 months, our young adults are going to be in charge of the music. So show them love and support. Tip them, say thank you if our practitioners come forward. Remember, there's a new member orientation right after this. Let's sing our closing song.
I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I
much. Have a great weekend, everybody.
Thank you.